What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Knives at the Round Table. My name's Marco, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Tactical Pterodactyl Raptor. Now, Tactical Pterodactyl is a brand. It's a small brand. They do knives in small batches. They're hard to find. You have to follow them. Sign up for their newsletters, those kinds of things. Wait for a drop. So I've been following them for a while because I really wanted to get a Raptor. The Raptor is the reverse tanto sheep's foot blade, and I saw it. I don't know who had it, but I think Taylor Martin from Best Damn EDC has one, and I thought it was a really interesting fixed blade. So I decided to kind of follow them, and I finally was able to pick one up. The first one I picked up is actually not that one. It was actually their Camper, which is their drop point version. I'll show this here in a little bit, but it's an interesting knife. And if you're thinking of having a fixed blade as an EDC, I think this is a really nice choice. The size is really good. Now, in what I do, I'm an engineer. I work in an office, so you really can't carry a fixed blade as an EDC. It's too exposed, and people are just not expecting it, right? I can't walk around my office with one of these things. But if you work outside, or if you work in an environment that allows it, then this would be an excellent choice because the size, it's really good. So let me give you a tour of the knife and show you kind of what we have here. So it's not, like I said, it's a small blade, so it's more of an EDC. It's not a camping, survival, tactical. This is an EDC. Okay, what you might need as an EDC if you wanted to carry a fixed blade. The blade length, so it's hard to know where to measure from. So I'm gonna measure from right here. I'm gonna show you where I'm measuring from. So it's 2.5 inches, and probably just about that of cutting length. Like I said, this particular knife comes in the reverse tanto sheep's foot. You got like these grind swedges that look really nice, at least in my opinion. You got the Tactical Pterodactyl insignia. You have jimping that's very aggressive, and actually it's a tad bit painful. You have full tank construction. You got G10 kind of rock carved scales on here, and I want to say that this was S90V. I'll confirm that, and if it's wrong, I'll put a note on the video. I believe this one is S90V, and so that's kind of what you have. The blade stock, it's fairly thick, but it's, again, if you want to carry a fixed blade as an EDC, is because you might be rougher on your EDC than your typical folder. So let me give you some size comparisons, because this is a small knife, but it's really well proportioned. So let me show you. So that, I don't know if you can tell. I don't know if it even fits in the frame. I guess barely. That is an SE5, and that is an SE3. So typically when I go camping and I want to have something at my belt, or when I'm out in the woods, I usually carry something in this size range for camping. But again, I think this is more of an EDC type knife than a camping knife. I think this might be too small for camping purposes. But, and I'll show you here in a second, for thickness, as you can tell, it's even thicker than the SE3. So it's a fairly robust little blade. For those of you who don't have fixed blades and think that that you're looking for a small fixed blade, that's the Para 3, and that is the Para 2. So as I said, so you're getting a cutting edge. It's smaller than the Para 3, but I think, like I said, for an EDC fixed blade, I think you're looking at a really good size here. Like I said, now let me give you another, just so you have a side-to-side comparison. Uh, this is the tactical pterodactyl, but this is the camper. This is the raptor. This is the camper. So they have this drop point version. This is that's their I don't know what they call it. Their apocalyptic finish. I don't know if they call it that. I can't remember what they call it. But if you wanted to have, they have, I think they have a Warncliffe. They have a clip point. They have another version of the Raptor that has like a downturn right here. So he does it in different blade drawings, and this is actually what he calls his mid-size. He has a smaller version of this and a larger version of this. I think the smaller might be way too small, at least in my hands. I'm curious to get a full-size version of the knife. I'm following. They haven't done a drop of the full-size version of the knife. So let's get into it. Ergonomics. So ergonomics, I like when you have a small knife, but you can still get a full purchase on it, and you can see I can barely get a full purchase. But when I get a full purchase, I don't feel my hand cramped. It feels good in my hands. Now the jimping is aggressive and it is a little bit painful. Okay, so I think it, especially in a saber grip, I think that in a hammer grip, it's better. Although my pinky does kind of fall back into this flat in a hammer grip, because the saber grip kind of allows me to be more choked up. In a hammer grip, I'm back here and my pinky kind of locks the knife in. But other than the fact that it's a very narrow knife, and I feel like it disappears in my hand. I wear large gloves. It is fairly well contoured. You got this four finger groove right here that kind of locks the knife in place right there, and then the rest kind of allows you to have a variety of different grips. But the knife feels locked in, regardless of how you hold it, you always feel locked in, and it is very, very comfortable. The only position that it's not comfortable is when you try and do what you call it, a chest cut. I'm trying to remember what the name of it was, but where you grab the knife like this and you cut away from your chest. Because the groove is pointing in the wrong direction. But in any other position that has the blade pointing, away from your hand, in a hammer grip, saber grip, reverse hammer grip, all of those it's very comfortable. Again, you look at an SE3, right? And the SE3 feels my hand perfectly. Okay, my finger just barely touches the back of my hand, so it feels my hand really, really nicely. And especially these new 3D contoured scales on the SEs are very, very comfortable. They feel my hand perfectly. This one, it's very narrow, so you can see my finger just kind of overlaps my palm. So it's very, very small. But I would say that the ergonomics are good on this, even though on my large hands I feel like it kind of disappears in my hand. But I don't feel like it's insecure or that it's going anywhere, that it can slip, or that I can't, I'm not getting a full purchase on it. None of that. The groove here and the contouring of the scales, because they're contoured in this direction, and they've got this aggressive kind of stone texture, this rock texture. So you feel very secure in the blade. I think the ergonomics on this are very, very solid. And especially for such a small knife, you can't really do much better than this ergonomics on a knife this size. Now, cutting is decent for if you carry a fixed blade as an EDC, you might be cutting rope, you might be cutting paracord. But if you're doing cardboard processing, or if you, I think this would do very well for utility cuts. I think this, I haven't done many utility cuts, that's why I say I think it does. I've cut rope, I've cut paracord with it, and so for for it's thick, so pushing through material is not it's not the ideal, but cutting zip ties, for instance, or cutting tie bands around a box or those kinds of things, it's thick. The tip is not, it doesn't feel weak or flimsy. I mean, if you look at the tip on a pair of 3, right, it goes to a ridiculously thin tip that you're always worried about. This one, you got the metal of the steel that carries the almost the full length of the blade to right there, and then it comes down. So the tip is actually fairly strong. I think it's a little bit stronger maybe on the camper, or maybe not. I don't know. I mean, I haven't tested the strength of the tips, and I'm not going to. But I would say that if you were gonna pry, I would feel comfortable prying with this. It's fairly thick. Obviously, it's not the greatest slicer, but I think it's a very robust blade for, if your EDC tasks, if your work of every day has you requiring a little bit of a stouter blade where you might be, twisting your blade or getting it into something, then a fixed blade, and this one in particular, I think would do very, very well. So for a person who's looking to do harder use tasks out of their EDC, I would say that the cutting on this is really, really good. They come screaming sharp out of the box. But I just make sure that you're not expecting, the sliciness of a pair 2 or 3, or even a bug out or something like that. That's not what you're getting out of this. You're getting a more robust, heavier duty blade. If you're getting a full-time construction, it's not that you're going to be gentle about the uses of your knife. Fit and finish. Fit and finish is really, really nice. I like everything about the construction, the design, the material choices, the choice of steel. I love everything that they've done with this knife. I think they've, I like the grind lines on this. I like the swedges that they've done. It's perfectly symmetrical on both sides. I think I do think it's a bit too aggressive on the jumping. I think, it's one of the things that I would complain. But I would say that the fit and finish is really, really good. I only have experience of the 2 knives that I have. And this one, they've done this really interesting anodizing on it. This is not rust. This is that kind of a copper wash anodizing. So I think that their fit and finish, at least what I've experienced, which is these 2 knives, is really, really good. The one thing that I'm not crazy about, and I know I might be in the minority here, is in the sheaths. First of all, I'm not crazy about Kydex sheaths overall. Okay, the plasticky click, overall, I don't enjoy Kydex very much. But it's also, I don't think, very well designed, where you do have this thing to push against, but it's not flared out, so it's not easy to get it out. You struggle to get it out. In fact, I think I may have just cut myself. Yeah. So yeah, see, just trying to get the knife out. So it's hard to get it in and out. So I would have much rather prefer a leather sheath on this. Something similar to what you get out of the Lion Steel, or what you get out of a Benchmade, like this one, something like that. I think I would enjoy that much better. So overall, I think it's a really, really solid knife. I think I would highly recommend that you hunt one down. They're fun. They're utilitarian. I think they work really well. They're well made. They have really good materials. I think my only airing of grievances on this thing would be that the jimping is too aggressive, that I don't like Kydex sheaths, especially this one is hard to get it in and out of the Kydex sheath, and that the availability, you have to really, really hunt one down. I think those would be my only airing of grievances. So guys, hopefully this has been helpful or interesting to you. If it does, then like and subscribe. Don't hit the notification bell, and nobody likes to get more emails. So you know where to find my content, and if you want to see more of my stuff, you know where to find me. Until I see you at the next one, take care.